Hey there, this is Brian Johnson, and let's talk about the July slump. In fact, let's talk about the summer slump. In fact, let's talk about the July and summer slump during COVID 2020, right? So obviously, this is a very unusual year as a seller, right? So one of the reasons I wanted to put this out there is to remind people. This is something I do on a regular basis. I remind people it's like there's seasonality, there's certain conditions that affect your sales, but more importantly, what are some things that you can do about it in order to improve your sales, to improve your business and make it a little bit more predictable. So let me give you a little bit of a history lesson here, and then I'll get to the meat as far as what you can do in order to improve your situation. So first and foremost, normally I would talk about a holiday. Let's talk about July 4th. Okay, 4th of July weekend in the United States. Typically a big travel, some kind of vacation or party weekend in some cases. And so there's fireworks, there's barbecues, there's socializing, there's family, all these things that are normally tied to that under normal conditions, normal year, right? What that usually means, and this applies to any holiday in the U.S., probably around the world for that matter, is that shoppers, the buyer psychology, shoppers are distracted leading up to and during that holiday. Let me kind of put it in a frame of reference here. So under normal circumstances, parents, for instance, are dealing with the fact that they've got their kids home for summer break. They may have teenagers home from college, for instance, or adults that are going home from college in some cases. And so what they're dealing with is maybe they've got more people in the house on a regular basis. They're not going to school. They're not going to a job, for instance, right? And that creates a kind of a social dynamic of distraction. In other words, there's more people milling around the house. I've got to entertain kids. I've got to cook bigger meals. I've got to find time for myself. All these kinds of things go through somebody who can be potentially a shopper or a buyer of your products on Amazon. Now, normally when we go into a holiday weekend, for instance, like 4th of July, typically a 3-day weekend, right? The normal psychology on this is, okay, I'm going to order 1 to 2 weeks ahead of everything that I need for this 3-day event, whether that is staying home and barbecuing, whether that is getting some supplies for the travel camper, for the RV, maybe it's for a beach house, it depends on where they're at, right? And then they're still shopping. They're still in the shopping mood because they've been preparing for this event, for this 3-day weekend. And so they're still looking for things that maybe they didn't find previously, but they're still shopping online. What makes this even worse, of course, or even better, depends on how you look at it, is a lot of us have been trained in order to pretty much live on our phones, right? A lot of us are addicted to our phones. Let's not kind of beat around the bush around that. That's a known problem in the society, right? Is the technology is very distracting. It's very engaging. It's very personalized. And so it is pretty easy for us to spend more time on our phone than maybe having a conversation with other people, right? Just kind of a normal fact, obviously, we have to deal with, right? But when it comes to online shopping, in 2020, during COVID, during quarantine, a lot of people have been trained heavily to not only work from home, but to shop online in order to get their products. A lot, because a lot of the retail stores they normally would shop, have been quarantined. It's inconvenient to go in and have to follow the rules, to keep social distancing, to wear a face mask. All of these things that are occurring, while very unfortunate, has shifted a lot of the commerce over to online e-commerce, right? For shopping online. And of course, Amazon is just the kingpin when it comes to American e-commerce, right? So what that means is that those shoppers who have been preparing for the holiday weekend, for instance, for that short vacation, they have been shopping, and now they're still on their phone, they're still surfing around, they're still looking at product listings, they're still searching for keywords, they're still clicking on ads, they're still clicking on your ad, and they're still spending your money that you're still advertising for. But here's what happens is, when you go into, let's say this is the 4th of July, and let's say it's the 5th and the 6th, right? So what is that? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I guess it is. So I guess the 3rd. So you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And so, in fact, let me go ahead and put that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A lot of companies maybe gave their employees time off. Maybe families took their time off in order so they could spend some vacation time with their family during this time. And so they may have taken, like, say, a 4-day weekend, right? Still shopping online, still spending a lot of time searching for products on e-commerce. You're still advertising, right? Now, what happens though is conversion rates go down as we get closer. In other words, let's say the conversion rates here, they're normally very high leading up. Actually, here, let me get it back in screen here. They're normally very high, and then as it gets in, the conversion rate starts dropping, and then it starts picking back up again when they return back from whatever the holiday is, and they start shopping for, like, okay, what do I need for the next week, right? So what that happens then is, you're still spending just as much because they're still on their phone searching, they're distracting themselves with, oh, what do I want next? But they're not committing to the purchase. That's the big challenge on that. They're not committing to the purchase because they're distracted by all the logistics of family planning, of people around them, of what am I going to do? What am I going to cook for barbecue? What am I going to? Where am I going to travel to if they're able to travel? Right? This seems to. I wouldn't have expected it. Actually, I wouldn't have expected it this year because of COVID, because of travel restrictions, because of quarantine, because of just parks being closed. Right? And yet, we still saw the same behavior as if they were going somewhere, and a lot of times they were not going anywhere, but they chose to still make decisions like, well, I've got a tradition in my family, with my friends, I have them come over, we barbecue, we have a good time, we drink, we play music, whatever the case is, we shoot off fireworks, and hopefully nobody goes to the emergency room as a result of that. But what happens is that they're still thinking about, maybe they're trying to get some semblance of normalcy, and things like holidays, like 4th of July, present that opportunity. It's like, I'm going to do something. I normally travel to the beach. I can't travel to the beach, so I am going to stay at home. I'm going to barbecue, but I'm going to have some friends over. I'm going to have some close family over because I trust that they're okay. They're not running a fever. Things are okay. That we'll have a good time. But they're still planning for that. They're still thinking about, like, oh, I'm going to cook chicken. Am I going to cook, Uncle Bob doesn't like barbecue sauce. So what am I going to have as a side dish? And what am I going to have to bring to drink? Distraction, right? So the conversion rates drop considerably, right? I don't know if that's in frame there. So the conversion rates, they drop considerably. What happens to your ACoS if your conversion rate drops? It goes up, right? So what we're seeing, a lot of people reporting is like, man, it's like, why is my ACoS shooting through the roof? Now, in June, Amazon did have a reporting bug. That just exacerbated things, right? The first few days of June, they had a delay in advertising and sales attribution, right? And that screwed up some of the reporting. They've got that fixed now, as of the time of me recording this, right? But most people still saw, it's like, man, my ACoS is just going through the roof. What's going on? It's mainly because their conversion rate. If you go back and you check your ads, and I recommend that you go and do this now, is go check to see, did your conversion rates drop and did they slide down into the weekend? If so, you're going to start seeing them pick back up again. But here's the second problem now. So we got past 4th of July as a weekend, right? 4th of July. But now we are still right in the smack dab of summer, which is normally a travel time. Most families are out traveling. They're taking vacations. They're taking their kids on the European, cruise line. None of that's going to happen. Well, I shouldn't say none of it, but it's going to be a lot more restricted than normal. People don't have as much family income as they normally do. Very unfortunate. Certainly, quarantine and restrictions from travel has definitely impacted the ability to go out and to enjoy. A lot of people, if you happen to be in the do-it-yourself home type of product niche, your sales have been blowing up because people are stuck at home. They're like going, well, let me just make my household better. Let me build out my patio. Let me get a new barbecue. Let me paint my walls. Let me get the house plants. Whatever the case is, they're typically improving. If they have the money, they're typically improving their household. But if you're not in the do-it-yourself home improvement niche, then your sales have already taken a hit. right, during COVID and all the things that have gone along with late warehouse shipping, right, and the inability to restock some of your products. Some of you are definitely struggling. We've got a number of our clients within Canopy Management that have that went into a spiral because of a number of problems with their product was needed by event planners. They were by wedding photographers, by anything that required like events and people and concerts and all these kinds of things, right? They took a hard hit. We helped them. We were able to coach them through some of the crisis in order to mitigate some of that risk, and at the same time look for the new opportunities that presented themselves that they hadn't considered before. One of the advantages of being able to work with an agency like Canopy Management is we've got a much wider view of what the market is doing, and we see multiple risks and multiple opportunities at the same time. And so that is one of the biggest benefits of being plugged into an organization like ours, is because we have that kind of additional insight. Now, it's not to plug the agency, but kind of back to the topic here is that 4th of July hit, right? So we got the slump, the conversion rate went down, the ACoS went up, followed by summer, which is normally historically going to be a slump until school comes back to school, starting back in the end of July, beginning of August for the southern states, maybe mid to late August in the northern states is typically when we're going to start seeing some of the back to school lift come back, right? And so we're going to see with August, September, October, right? You just go over here to November, December, right? We're going to start seeing, let me put back to July here. We're going to start seeing where it is really low and sluggish during July. It's going to pick up a little bit on the back to school, primarily for things as far as like getting dorm rooms ready, getting kids ready for back to school. Now this year, there's a lot of unpredictability. There's a lot of uncertainty, and well-deserved is that the uncertainty is, are our kids going to go back to school? Are the public schools going to be opened up? Are they going to have to limit the number of students that are in a school? Are they going to have business as usual come August, in September? Or is it going to be modified so that we're doing partial online learning? Am I going to have to set things up so that I'm working from home more often, working remotely? A lot of companies have found out by having their staff work remotely that, hey, you know what, this model actually works, and we don't need this $1 million a month building over here. We can go ahead and end the lease on that, and then put just have our employees work from home, but you still have the logistics of what are you going to do with the kids? If the kids aren't going back to school, you still have to keep them busy. You've got things like tutoring. You've got all these at-home activities. A lot of the same kind of product spikes that we saw during quarantine, we may very well see back again in August and September when the school year starts back up again, but we are forced to homeschool. Now, from a family value and family time standpoint, this could be a fantastic thing. There's also a risk, of course, that we drive each other nuts within our families. That's always a risk too. It kind of depends on the space and the way you manage your household and you manage that. But the point is that depending on what the product niche that you're in, this could be an opportunity for you, maybe an opportunity for you to expand your product line, maybe something to diversify a little bit, maybe. But normally what we would see, of course, is a pickup during August. And then it would start fading off toward September, October, might have a little bit for things like Halloween and decorations and that kind of stuff. And then it kind of slips back down again. And then maybe we lead up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? So we get this big spike in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then, of course, it just skyrockets up in December. And then, of course, just tanks back in January, unless you're in the New Year's resolution market, which includes supplementation, fitness, any of the kind of the well-being, the storage, home organization, that kind of stuff. But this year, of course, we are running into, of course, in the COVID world, we are running into the challenge of what's going to happen with August. Big question mark, right? Are our kids going back to school? Do we need to get school supplies for them? Do we need to get clothing for them, backpacks and all that kind of stuff for them to go back to school? Or are they going to be, homeschooled? And then what do we do? Different logistics problem, right? In September, Amazon, of course, has now stated that it's like, they keep on pushing things back. They're going to say, Prime Day was July. No, it's September. Now they're saying October, right? So they're talking about Prime Day in October, probably the beginning of October, maybe the first or second week of October, right? And so this could potentially have a much bigger spike here. And then, of course, with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, with depending on what goes on with quarantine and how many retailers survive this year, you may have far fewer retail outlets that are putting on those kind of, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the Black Friday, especially Cyber Monday is just going to be massive when it comes to online, on Amazon, for instance, right? And then, of course, going into December, it's going to be a whole new ball game. Now, let me complicate this one step further, because what I want you to do is I want you to be aware of what is coming here and the way the buyer psychology works, so that you can start thinking ahead, start thinking ahead as far as, what am I going to do with my product line? I don't want you to fear what's coming. I want you to plan for what's coming. I want you to make choices in your business that says, here's where I'm going to focus my attention in order to mitigate my risk, diversify my product portfolio and my brand a bit, so that I've got more options. So I'm not just stuck on these individual events throughout the year that are going to make or break my business. I need to make sure that there's more of a level playing field. Now, what do? Obviously, I'm the advertising guy here, right? So what are you going to do from an advertising standpoint? Well, that brings up a whole new challenge. Let me grab my eraser here really quick. And we shall talk about how advertising has changed dramatically. Again, I do not want you to fear the fact that the advertising has changed so dramatically between 2019 and 2020. I want you to see what opportunity lies for your business so that you can jump on it, right? I don't want you to be to just be oblivious that this exists, okay? So between 2019 and 2020, Amazon has rolled out a whole bunch of new ad placements, right? We've got sponsored product ads, we've got sponsored brand ads, we've got sponsored display ads, and you also have demand side platform. If your brand is big enough, by the way, just kind of a side note here, I'm going to plug Canopy once again here. So Canopy Management actually is one of the few agencies that is authorized to run demand side platform or off Amazon display advertising for your brand. If you are a well-established brand and would you like to have that conversation with us, it is not uncommon for us to grow sales by 10, 15, 20% even overall through the demand side platform. So if that's something that you haven't looked at, if you've dismissed what Amazon is offering as far as spending at least $35,000 per month, I strongly recommend that you give us a call, and we can certainly help you navigate that, and just kind of, we'll get on a call and basically just evaluate as far as whether it's a good fit and what we think is the right potential or the right solution for you. That's what I'll say on that one, right? So, but it is a huge, awesome ad platform that Amazon has made more available on a limited basis. So, with the ads that are available in 2020, we've got sponsored product ads, okay? So sponsored product ads, those are the classic ones. Those are the ones that are based off of the search terms and the keywords. And with that, we have like the automatic campaigns that have the search terms, right? We have, with that, they have now introduced, I'm gonna roll this out here. They have now introduced targeting groups, okay? Most of your competitors are not even aware that a lot of this stuff is rolled out. So that's why I want you to make sure that you're in the aware, that you know, so that you can take action on this kind of stuff. So you've probably seen some of my other videos and webinars and that kind of stuff where I've done workshops on all the different ad types that are available. It just keeps on changing every single week. So let me kind of bring you up to speed here. So with sponsored product ads, you have the search term targeting when it comes to automatic campaigns, and they've introduced auto targeting groups. Auto targeting groups allow you to allow you to basically focus your ads more on the audience that is maybe looking at products that are directly competing with your products, or maybe are complementary to your products, or just kind of like in a surrounding kind of vicinity or neighborhood of your product niche, okay? So that is a huge opportunity all by itself, and that's just available in sponsored product ads, and that is available to anybody who can advertise, right? You don't even need to be brand registered. Now, you also have, as far as keyword targeting, okay? With keyword targeting has introduced some new things. That's more of a classic one. This is, of course, is where you are developing your own list of keywords and you are advertising on those keywords. Now, what has changed the most in the past couple of years is the keyword research tools continue to get better and better, right? There's no perfect solution, never will be, but the keyword research tools have gotten a lot better. I strongly encourage you to do your own keyword research and then make sure that you keep it very tight and very relevant to your product. Don't just splatter out a bunch of words and hope that something is close enough to your product. Be very specific, be very targeted as far as your product and your audience. Now, the keywords, of course, it gives you a number of things, including things like match type control, okay? It gives you placement control. It gives you the bidding strategy, right? As far as fixed bidding, dynamic bidding, those kinds of things. Those are some great options. Now, we've also, Amazon rather, has also introduced product targeting, category targeting, okay? Product and category targeting is where you can run ads on competitor products. You can run ads on products that are related to your product that have the same audience. We are fantastic at that, by the way, at Canopy Management. We do a phenomenal job as far as gaining new sales and new eyeballs that are outside of your highly competitive niche. Your highly competitive niche is what is so expensive for you right now and for your competitors because you're all competing for the same space, okay? 80–90% of the products in your product niche are all competing within this area right here, and it costs a lot of money, all right? It costs a huge amount of money. It's very expensive. Your bids have to be higher. Your cost per click is high. Your ACoS is high. You're spread too thin, okay? Now, let me take it one step further here. Yes, you can do category targeting. Most people are not, your competitors, of course, are not doing the category targeting correctly either, by the way. We've got some great strategies that we implement in order to make category targeting actually work. We hear the same thing with sponsored brand ads, like, oh, I tried that once and it didn't work. Well, it's because it wasn't set up correctly. It's just, the way it is, right? It's a numbers game and it's a practice game. You got the experience. You have made mistakes in order to get to learn exactly what works and what doesn't. So most of your competitors, like I said, 80–90%, kid you not, are only doing this. And they're not doing it well, mind you, okay? So all you need to do is do a little bit more in your ad coverage in order to dominate your niche, in order to get ahead of many of your competitors. Try it. Trust me. Sponsored brand ads. If you've got brand registry, sponsored brand ads and sponsored display ads are also a great two different ad types that are available, okay? With sponsored brand ads, you've got keyword targeting. You've got product targeting, okay? You've got category targeting. You have storefront. You have video. Yes, video. All of these different ad placements, most of your competitors haven't even tried. Maybe they tried the keyword targeting and they said, oh, that didn't work, I gave up, right? But there's all these other options in order for you to acquire market share, defend your brand, and to showcase your products to a much bigger audience and get more ad coverage. This 80–90% represents about 20% of the ad space available on Amazon, okay? The sponsored brand ads probably adds another, 20–30%. The sponsored display ads, probably another, 30% right there. I know that doesn't add up to 100%. I did that intentionally because there's other places that can be controlled also by demand side platform, that what I talked about, DSP, and some other variations that are not available for all accounts. It all does add up to 100%. But sponsored display ads, of course, allows you to do things like, as far as audiences, off Amazon audiences. Also, you can do product and category targeting. Okay. Again, another great opportunity that most of your competitors are not using. So if you even try it out, you are likely to get an incremental edge above your competition and get a competitive advantage. And you're going to be able to get a lot more visibility and a lot more sales, even during this summer slump, right? I feel like a weather, like a meteorologist, right? It's like, when the front comes through. No. During the summer slump, so that you elevate your sales even higher throughout the entire year, okay? Now, there's a lot more detail within each one of these as far as best practices when it comes to targeting, when it comes to placement, when it comes to bidding strategies, when it comes to daily optimization. All of these things are, there's very specific strategies that we use at Canopy Management. And yes, I'm going to just flat out just put it out there. If you feel like your brand is ready to really step it up, if you don't feel like you're getting the ad coverage that you need, and where you're going to see that is, do you feel like your market share and your sales are slowly declining, even outside of COVID, even outside of summer? If you feel like from year over year, you're starting to lose the battle against your competition, you can correct that and gain your market share back with the right advice, with the right management. And that's why I'm suggesting that you give us a call at Canopy Management. 1-800, no, I'm kidding. Went into infomercial mode there. No, honestly, is that I've got a phenomenal team at Canopy Management. We've been doing this for years, and it is our strategies work. That's one of the reasons why we have such success with our partners. But we have specific things that we see, especially right now, when we see so many brands that are struggling that we can help. They just didn't know what are some of the things that are causing the problems they have. That's what I've been talking about right here. We have the capabilities and the knowledge and the experience in order to help you fix that. So give us a shout. Go ahead and let us know over at Canopy Management, and we will jump on the phone and we'll have a coaching call or a consulting call with you to show you where you can be with the right advice, with the right strategy. We can help you move forward and we can help you grow against your competition. I'm Brian Johnson. Thanks for being here with me today, and I'll talk to you soon.